This functional vet. This is an unboxing of a metal spray tank. I've just opened the top of it off camera. I'm now about to pull this thing out. I'm going to show you the tank, how to maintain it, how to properly fill it, how to properly store it, and such. I've gotten very tired of the plastic tanks. I buy them, they last for a little bit, the tips break, the wands snap off. I'm just tired of it. So I've gone to a complete metal tank and a metal sprayer. Let me go ahead and pull this out and I'll show you what we got. This is the wand right here. It's an adjustable. I would rather have a tip that you change out, but don't have it. On this end, on this end down here, this will screw up and you have some pieces. Now inside the box is the strap and also some O-rings and stuff like that, so you have some extra parts. First thing I noticed, this is crimped right here. So that needs to be cut out and reattached. It's also crimped right here. So right off the bat, right out of the box, you've lost probably close to 6 inches of hose. They could have left this unconnected, make it an operator deal, and we'd be just fine. Now, one of the reviews I read, and I read on several different tanks, they talked about that the gauge broke rather quickly. These things are cheap, well, kind of sort of cheap, and I'm not too worried about it. You need a gauge in order to calibrate a tank, and I will show you how to calibrate a tank later, but we'll get to that in just a minute. It has a pop-off relief, and some people said that went bad. That's an easy change out. That's not a big deal. The pop-off is so that you don't overpressure the tank. Now this tank goes up to 80 psi. When you're doing a commercial spray, you want to calibrate at 40 pounds. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get a workout to pump this thing up to 40 pounds. So let's cut these wire ties off. Let's go ahead and open this up and I'll show you some of the inside of it. With the hose out of the way, and these kinks are a problem, we can see that down inside here it says oil here. You'd add oil in there. Another thing you can do, and you probably should do, is take some axle grease or bearing grease and very gently grease the inside of this thing. It'll help make it last because it does get water in it. To release the handle, you press down. This handle shows signs of oxidation. That's pretty nasty. It definitely needs oil. To open this thing, you press down on it and there we go. Lock it, and now you pull this up. If you notice, I don't know if you can see it, it's pretty nasty, greasy. It's got a lot of grease on it, which it should, but this outer cylinder pops off. And I don't have a way to hold this on a tripod, this camera, so I can't show you that. And down inside of there, it's fairly clean. It has a metal rod, and what we'll be doing is we'll be checking the instructions in just a moment, and we'll make sure that this has an inline filter. If it does not have an inline filter, I'm going to place an inline filter between the hose and where it connects in the hose, between the hose itself and where it attaches to the handle. The reason for that is to keep debris out. Now this piece right here is probably a clean out. I don't know, I can't really tell, but you definitely want to have a filter because you're going to get dirt into these tanks. That's just a given. There's no way to prevent that. To fill a tank, first thing first, you have to know what organism that you're going after, whether it's a plant and what kind of plant, monocot, diacot. That's important because some herbicides will kill monocots but not diacots. Or if you're killing insects, you want to use a insecticide that is stated on the label for that insect. The label is the law, and you can get in trouble with the feds if you violate them. The next thing to do, you've identified whatever your target is that you're going after, plant or animal. You now have the correct product. You now open the instructions and you read how much you need. Don't make it stronger, don't make it weaker. Making it stronger doesn't kill more or better or faster. All it does is waste product. And this stuff is getting expensive. If you make it too weak, it's not going to kill the target that you want, and you may end up with organisms that are resistant to it. So you don't want to do that. But what you want to do is fill this bottle halfway with water. Then add your herbicide or pesticide into the tank, and then add the other half of your water, and then agitate it gently. And when you pour that water in, it should mix, and you'll get a good dilution in there, and you'll be safe doing it. Something to bear in mind: wear proper personal protective equipment, PPE, and in addition to that, you want to wear that PPE when you're using your product, whether it says use rubber gloves or whatever kind, whether you need a mask, a respirator. Follow the instructions so you don't make yourself sick. After you've used the product up, and as I say, we'll talk about calibrating in just a minute, or in another film. That's a film to itself. You would use up all your product. Then you would take the tank, triple rinse, make sure that there's no fluid in the handle or in the nozzle down here. Make sure that that's flushed out with clean water, and then hang this thing upside down for long-term storage. And of course, you can always put a towel over it to help keep dust out of it. You know, store it open. And with that said, dysfunctional vat out.